South Africa's parliament is facing fresh controversy as private investigator Paul O'Sullivan refuses to appear in person before a high-profile ad hoc committee, citing credible threats to his life and demanding to testify only virtually. Here's the latest from Cape Town. What's happening? Paul O'Sullivan has formally rejected calls to appear physically before Parliament's ad hoc committee, which is probing serious allegations of corruption, organised crime, and political interference within the South African Police Service. The investigator is currently overseas and, he says, will not return to South Africa due to personal safety fears unless he can testify virtually. O'Sullivan insists he is willing to testify virtually provided a mutually acceptable date is set. He confirmed this in a written submission to the committee and dismissed suggestions he fled to avoid accountability. Why this is big news? The Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee was established in 2025 to investigate explosive allegations made by a KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi, against senior police and justice officials and political interference. The inquiry has already heard testimony from high-ranking figures, including former acting National Police Commissioner Kgomodzo Falane, and is expected to continue with more key witnesses. O'Sullivan had been scheduled to appear as one of those witnesses, but his refusal to attend physically has reignited national debate over witness protection, parliamentary authority, and the safety of individuals involved in sensitive investigations. Paul O'Sullivan's claims. O'Sullivan says his life is in grave danger due to what he calls criminals masquerading as MPs and alleges a real threat on his life, information he claims is supported by credible intelligence sources. He says that comments attributed to General Mkhwanazi and other political actors have effectively put a target on his back, forcing him to protect himself and his family. O'Sullivan claims his 7 children have been moved out of the country for safety reasons. His evidence, if accepted, would also include submissions previously made to the Matlangani Commission and details of a criminal case he says he opened against Mkhwanazi's Chief of Staff, Cedric Nkabinde. However, O'Sullivan has made it clear that he will not answer questions about his personal life, family matters, or events prior to leaving South Africa. Parliament's response and pushback. Parliamentary reaction has been mixed and at times tense. Some MPs, including those from larger parties, have rejected O'Sullivan's request for remote testimony, insisting that physical presence is necessary for accountability and transparency. A member of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party, MKP, described virtual appearances as nonsense and said O'Sullivan will be compelled to attend in person if necessary. Other MPs argue the committee's rules make in-person testimony the default and that sufficient prior notice has been given for O'Sullivan to appear. The committee has also faced calls from some quarters to subpoena witnesses, including O'Sullivan and businessman Bron Mohodzi, to ensure full participation. History behind the hearing. The ad hoc committee's work stems from allegations made by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi that senior police and justice officials colluded with organized crime networks and interfered in law enforcement processes. Earlier testimony by witnesses such as Cedric Nkabinde included serious claims of corruption and alleged interference within the police and prosecuting authorities. The committee has a mandate extended to 20 February 2026 to complete its findings, and a number of high-profile hearings are scheduled in the coming weeks. Why this matters? This saga touches on several sensitive national issues: witness safety and protection before Parliament, the integrity of South Africa's police and justice systems, the balance between accountability and personal security protections, the authority and rule of Parliament in high-stakes inquiries. Closing line. As Parliament resumes the ad hoc committee hearings, all eyes will be on how lawmakers balance public transparency with witness safety, and whether Paul O'Sullivan will finally take the stand in person or only from afar. And this is a developing story.